Gabby, at this time. Yeah, Gabby and Caitlin are going to talk about a little sex, so go on.
So, Caitlin, you stated that within comprehensive sex education, the material used is age sensitive. Who determines what material is age sensitive?
Age sensitivity is a term that has been identified as the understanding of cognitive development has become better understood. Throughout our childhood, brain function continually develops, each stage revealing new understandings and abilities. As sex education programs have been continually revamped and redeveloped, so has the understanding of what material registers with particular groups. When looking at the curriculum, the quality and quantity of the material progresses as children get older. It would be silly to discuss with a 6-year-old the act of vaginal intercourse, as they are just becoming aware of the existence of their own different body parts. Age sensitivity is a term that identifies that different age groups will learn best with different information at different times in their lives. That is exactly why comprehensive sex education is comprehensive.
Abstinence-only programs tend to promote abstinence behavior through emotions, such as romantic notions of marriage, moralizing fears of STDs, and by spreading scientifically incorrect information. What exactly did you mean by that?
Well, the information that abstinence-only programs are providing our students many a time is misleading or a straight-up lie. They use the idea of love and romance as a staple in which sex should occur as a condition by fear to believe that if disobey will face the wrath of the church and God. Also, as I previously stated, one abstinence program stated that the chances of premature birth, a major cause of mental retardation, is increased following abortion. Really? So what this curriculum is teaching is that stay away from sex or you will get pregnant. And because you're too young and incapable of taking care of your child, you will get an abortion. And then, the next time you're ready to become pregnant and start a family, the chances of your child being mentally handicapped is relatively high because you were too exposed and had sex before you were ready. I don't know about you, but I'm really trying hard not to laugh.
You stated that comprehensive sex is not only educating our students on the understanding of sexual relationships, but platonic friendships as well. How does educating our students on how to be a good friend prevent our students from having premarital sex?
Friendships and relationships share something in common, and that is the level of intimacy and closeness. When I say intimacy, I'm not suggesting sexual behavior, but the level of self-disclosure that is shared between two individuals that causes them to create a bond based on reciprocity and security. Intimacy occurs in both sexual and platonic relationships, and as adolescents are growing and changing, it is important that they understand the dynamic of a healthy relationship, whether it be a boyfriend or a best friend. Abstinence-only programs are really missing the overall point of educating our students. It is not about presenting the right information to prevent them from utilizing another alternative. It is about providing them with the knowledge that they can use when situations present themselves. Experience can teach us a lot, sometimes more than we bargained for. And that is why teaching our students and children about relationships and sex prior to their experiences can aid them in their understanding of which way is best for them to react.
Gabby, would you now like to address the crowd on your stance on this issue?
Yes, I would talk about abstinence-only education. Abstinence-only education is not ignorant or naive, nor is it ineffective. It gives parents the freedom to raise their children without the interference of state-imposed values. That is by Nowicki 2008. Sex education severely impedes a parent's freedom to raise children with the values of their own choosing. Those who oppose abstinence try to paint the image of it being irrational and civilized. But in reality, abstinence-only education is an effective and intelligent means to lowering teenage pregnancy rates in the United States and securing parental rights. A study conducted in Monroe County, New York, found that the pregnancy rate for girls ages 15 through 17 in the county fell by a significant amount. The rate fell from 63.4 pregnancies per 100 girls to 49.5 pregnancies per 1,000 girls. According to the Heritage Foundation, only 8% of parents believe that promoting contraception is more important than abstinence. Parents should be the ones doing the parenting, not the state. Comprehensive sex education programs and safe sex programs are only myths. There will always be a certain amount of risk in engaging in sexual activity. Condoms and birth control are not 100% preventative, and they should not be portrayed that way. Sex education programs often fail because it is assumed that knowledge acquired at earlier ages will influence behavior. but the evidence suggested that younger teenagers are unlikely to act on what they know. According to the Heritage Foundation, sexually active young adults are more likely to be depressed and commit suicide. The earlier people become involved in sexual activity, the more likely he or she will encounter sexually transmitted diseases. A CDC study released earlier this year, an estimated 1 in 4 girls between 14 and 19 have an STD. The Heritage Foundation also reported that the government spends $12 to promote contraceptive education for every $1 on abstinence education. Abstinence-only education saves the government money. For the first time, researchers have clear evidence that abstinence education works, and it could change the conversation about young people and sex. Mira and Siegel, 2010. In a study done in pediatrics and adolescent medicine, researchers followed 6th and 7th graders in separate groups. In one, the focus was abstinence. In the other, they taught contraception and safe sex. 2 years later, they talked to the kids again. Half of the students learning about safe sex were now having sex, while only a third in the group focused on abstinence were engaged in sex. But there was something else at play here. Researchers say it was how the topic of abstinence was approached. The drawbacks to having sex earlier, unplanned pregnancy, and sexually transmitted diseases. Abstinence-only education, which emphasizes morality and waiting until marriage, has been long criticized. NBC polled young Americans recently about their feelings involving sex. The survey turned up some surprising results. Most teens, 13 to 16 years old, have not engaged in sexual intercourse because many are concerned about the potential consequences, which include pregnancy, transmitted diseases, and even their parents' reactions. 42% say that they have not had sex because of their moral or religious beliefs. The National Institute of Child Health and Development found that teens who watch shows with a great deal of sexual content were much more likely to engage in sexual intercourse than those teens who watch programs with little sexual content. In August of 2002, a study of Northwestern University Medical School researcher John Lyons, PhD, discovered that youth have a clearer understanding of abstinence and of the health consequences of engaging in or refraining from sexual activity after participating in the program. It also appears that the abstinence message can reach youth who are already sexually active. Finally, the reported behavioral intentions to remain abstinent from sexual activity until marriage increased significantly to 2/3 of all program participants. In the future, President Barack Obama should start by encouraging parents to be more involved in their children's lives, rather than support legislation for new sex education programs that hamper on those parental rights. The research shows that abstinence-only education continues to be effective in lowering teenage pregnancy rates.